Medieval life did not simply shorten human existence. It reshaped the human body into something damaged, exhausted, and prematurely broken. From the moment a person entered the world, their body became part of a system that consumed physical strength without ever restoring it. Survival was not built around protecting the body. It was built around extracting as much labor as possible before the body failed. The human body in the Middle Ages was never allowed to be whole. Every stage of life introduced new forms of damage, layered on top of old ones. There was no clean beginning and no gentle end. There was only accumulation. Hunger accumulated. Pain accumulated. Injury accumulated. And over time, the body became a record of everything it had endured. Even before birth, the process had already begun. Pregnant women lived under constant physical strain. They worked long hours, carried heavy loads, and consumed food that barely sustained basic life functions. Their bodies were depleted of nutrients long before pregnancy ended. As a result, many children entered the world already weakened. Their bones were fragile. Their immune systems were compromised. Their chances of survival depended less on strength and more on circumstance. Infancy was brutal. Disease spread easily. Clean water was rare. Hygiene was minimal. Many children died before their bodies had time to grow strong enough to resist infection. Those who survived did not emerge unscathed. Childhood illnesses often caused permanent damage. Fever could impair organs. Infections could deform limbs. Survival did not mean health. It meant continuation. As soon as a child could move reliably, their body was expected to work. Medieval society did not recognize developmental limits. A child's body was treated as a smaller adult body. Carrying water, hauling wood, tending animals, and working fields placed extreme strain on bones that had not yet finished forming. Growth was interrupted by pressure and repetition. The skeleton adapted not to balance, but to burden. Spines bent early. Shoulders hardened unevenly. Knees wore down under loads they were never designed to carry. Archaeological evidence shows clear signs of joint degeneration in teenagers. Pain was normalized before adulthood. By the time growth ended, many bodies were already damaged beyond repair. Food did nothing to reverse this damage. The medieval diet focused on survival, not nourishment. Bread was the foundation of life, but it was nutritionally poor and physically destructive. Stone-ground flour filled with grit wore teeth down rapidly. Protein was limited. Fat was scarce. Fresh produce was seasonal and unreliable. Vitamin deficiencies weakened muscles, softened bones, and slowed healing. The body lived in a permanent state of deficiency. Teeth often became the first visible sign of bodily collapse. Cavities spread unchecked. Abscesses formed deep beneath the gums. Infection moved easily from the mouth into the bloodstream. Pain was constant and untreated. Eating became painful, which further worsened malnutrition. Many people lost most of their teeth before reaching their 30s, accelerating physical decline. Daily labor consumed what little strength remained. Medieval work was repetitive, heavy, and endless. There were no safety standards. No limits. No recovery periods. A strained muscle was ignored. A damaged joint was worked through. Over time, soft tissue failed. Joints ground together painfully. Chronic inflammation set in. The body adapted not by healing, but by hardening around injury. Hands suffered catastrophic damage. Farmers, smiths, weavers, and laborers relied entirely on manual strength. Fingers stiffened. Wrists swelled. Nerves were damaged. Grip strength faded. Once fine motor control was lost, survival became more difficult. A failing body forced harder labor, which caused faster failure. Breathing itself became a daily struggle. Homes were filled with smoke from open fires. Workshops were thick with dust from grain, stone, and wool. Lungs absorbed particles that never left. Chronic coughing weakened the chest. Oxygen intake declined. Fatigue deepened. Diseases like tuberculosis thrived in weakened lungs. Every breath placed stress on an already exhausted system. Skin was never protected. It was constantly exposed to parasites, weather, and injury. Lice, fleas, and mites fed on blood and spread disease. Scratching opened wounds. Wounds became infected. Scars layered over scars. The body was never sealed. It was always vulnerable. Injury was unavoidable. Falls, crushed limbs, deep cuts, burns, and blunt trauma were common. Without antiseptics or antibiotics, infection followed quickly. Even minor wounds could become fatal. Swelling turned to fever. Fever turned to delirium. Delirium ended in death. Survival depended more on chance than resilience. Medical care rarely helped. Medieval doctors misunderstood the human body at a fundamental level. Bloodletting weakened patients who were already starving. Purging removed fluids the body desperately needed. Surgery introduced infection and shock. Pain relief was minimal or non-existent. Many survived illnesses despite treatment, not because of it. Women's bodies were subjected to additional destruction. Pregnancy followed pregnancy with little recovery. Nutrients were drained. Bones weakened. Muscles tore. Childbirth caused injuries that never healed properly. Pelvic damage, chronic pain, and internal infections were common. Many women lived their entire adult lives physically diminished after only a few births. Men's bodies were shaped by constant labor and, for many, warfare. Training damaged joints. Marching destroyed feet. Armor compressed spines. Combat shattered bones. Survivors carried injuries for life with no rehabilitation. A damaged body was expected to endure or disappear. Sleep offered little relief. Beds were rough. Cold penetrated joints. Parasites disrupted rest. The nervous system never fully relaxed. Exhaustion accumulated year after year, weakening the body's ability to heal. By the age of 30, many medieval bodies were already failing. Arthritis was widespread. Vision blurred. Hearing faded. Strength declined. Pain became constant. The body felt old not because of years lived, but because of damage endured. Medieval life compressed a lifetime of physical destruction into a few decades. The human body was not built to thrive under these conditions. It survived by sacrificing itself piece by piece. Old age was rare not because people suddenly died young, but because their bodies were destroyed long before they could reach it intact. Those who lived longer did so in bodies already broken, held together by habit, endurance, and necessity. Medieval life did not demand strength from the human body. It demanded everything: